So let's not waste any time. Suicide Squad. A lot of people are loving it, a lot of people are hating it, and it's a mixed bag. Critics hate it, audiences love it, that sort of thing. For the most part, in general, whatever. And don't like to look at those things. I like to go and make decisions for myself. I don't like having other people tell me if it's good or not. So I go in there completely. I wouldn't say my expectations were high. They just were sort of hopeful, I guess, if that's the right word. Mainly because this is the Joker we're going to have for a long time, or at least however long the DCEU is going to go on for. I mean, if we're hopefully it does go on for a while. But when I saw the movie, I liked a good portion of it. I thought the humor was good, the pacing was better than in Batman vs Superman, and the acting was good for the most part. But my biggest problem was, you guessed it, the Joker. And I thought he was going to be the best part of the movie. And that was what was so upsetting. Because, for lack of better words, Jared Leto was terrible in this movie. And nothing against Jared Leto. He's a great actor. I have no problems with him in any sort of way. But as the Joker, I just wasn't getting it. I know a lot of his scenes were cut, but from what was in the film, it wasn't the Joker. You see, you want to know how it was for me? It looked like he was trying to do a Heath Ledger impression while constipated. But he wasn't even talking like the Joker. He wasn't doing anything Joker-like. He was just a mafia boss who looked very pale. There was no jokes coming from him. There was no craziness. He wasn't even that creepy. He was just sort of dull, honestly. He was a bit eccentric. But all he did was elongate his words and sort of just moan and shit. And that's all I was getting from that performance. And it was really disappointing. I was shocked by how, just bad it was. And like I said, Jared Leto, he's a great actor, and I know he put a lot of work into this performance. Maybe we missed a lot of what was cut, but there was just nothing. I was just stunned the entire time and how just bad it was. I don't really know what else to say about that. I just was not getting any vibe from that. And not only that is the problem, is that the Joker's characterization was terrible. Just absolutely horrible. See, when I think of the Joker, and when a lot of other people think of the Joker, he's a soulless monster, the most evil villain of all time. I think most people can agree with that. And this guy is supposed to make Jason Voorhees look like a kitten. That's the Joker I know. That's the Joker we want to see. That's what Heath Ledger did. And I wasn't expecting Heath Ledger. I wasn't expecting Mark Hamill. But I wasn't expecting a performance that was less scary than Cesar Romano, which is really bad. And, he just did so many non-Joker things. The biggest of all is the problems with Harley. First of all, if people know the Joker, he doesn't love Harley. In fact, he just kill her. She's just the pawn. See, the Joker does 3 things: kill, cause chaos, fuck with Batman. That's all. That's it. That's his thing. And they're trying to give him I don't know, there was none of that, I guess. Just absolutely nothing. He was just sort of a mob. He was in a strip club, for Christ's sakes. This is the guy who everybody's terrified of. The other mob bosses don't want to touch this guy. And here he is, he's just sort of just a mob boss, a typical mob boss, and that was it. There was nothing else to him. No jokes, nothing. I could forgive the whole Harley thing, even though it was completely out of character for him. He saved her in one scene. I was like, what? And they kiss all the time. No, that doesn't happen. That does not. And maybe there was cutscenes that showed that, in most interpretations, it was just him manipulating her, because that's what he does. But in here, it seemed like he truly loved her, And that sort of just destroys the whole point of his character, is that he's just he's like the human version of the devil. Like, that's sort of the point. And I thought in one interview that's what Jared Leto said, but all I was getting was just a douchebag. Like, when I looked at this, okay, that's just a douchebag. Like, he's not the Joker. And that was the problem. You know, if they were going to do it for one movie, I would just throw it on the rug and think, oh, I don't really care. But the problem is that we have to deal with this Joker for however many movies they decide to put him in this extended universe. And at this point, the only hope is if they actually end up fixing it, like, as in, you know, show his ulterior motivations, and sort of continue on with that, like in Justice League or whatever movie he's going to be in. It doesn't really matter. But that's the problem, is that I feel like they're trying to pander to the people who ship Harley and Joker and, like, that sort of thing, and that's terrible. Like, and I just don't know what happened here. I mean, maybe it was his cut scenes. Maybe that was the cause of it all. But from what we saw and what was in the movie, it was just not good. It was really, really bad and really disappointing, to the point where I see that people are praising his performance, but I can't see why. There was nothing from this performance. I mean, maybe if he wasn't supposed to be the Joker, but that's who he was supposed to be, and it was just completely out of character. And, Jack, for example, Jack Nicholson, of course he wanted to, like, he wanted the girl and stuff, but you know what? I could, like, let that slide for the fact that he still acted like the Joker. He was still making jokes. He was funny. He was crazy. He was creepy. He was murdering people. And in this, he kills, like, what? Like, one guy? And he just sort of walks around the rest of the time. And, I mean, for Christ's sakes, he saves Harley Quinn. Like, that's absolutely disgusting. Like, sorry. Like, I just don't really have any more words to describe this tragedy. But that's pretty much all I have to say about it. And I apologize for my ranting. But hopefully they fix it. They probably won't, because they want to pander. Or maybe the reviews will help fix it. I don't know. At this point, it's up in the air. The future of the DCEU is up in the air. And we can all just hope for the best. I mean, if you like this performance, that's great. But for me, as a big Joker fan, a big comic book fan, I was just completely disappointed. And, I hope that, I hope Jared Leto does get a chance to shine again. Like, I mean, he's a great actor. I know he could do some good with this character. But from what we saw, it just wasn't there.